Hey there, folks. Welcome to the Whitfield Report for Monday. I'm your host, Sam Whitfield, broadcasting here live from South Florida on Periscope. And I just figured I would do this quick, little live stream slash podcast here, um, just to kind of fill you in on some things. So I was thinking about where we go from here after the election. There's a lot of talk, whether Biden's going to win, whether Trump is going to win, all that stuff. I personally think there's a good chance Trump is going to win. I sincerely believe that. I think that, unfortunately, Biden could also, uh, is going to pull out of the bag again, and I think he's going to do it in a landslide. But of how, regardless of how the election, here's the bottom line. There are a lot of people right now who are more or less banking on Trump getting reelected in the political commentary sphere. And God forbid Trump loses. I guarantee you that there's going to be a fair amount of people who, uh, have podcasts or have something to, quit doing their thing because, Trump is no longer president or whatever. And yeah, I understand it's, disappointing, but here's the thing, and I'm not saying this to brag or anything, but when I started when I was 14, I had just turned 14 at that point. That was during the 2008 election when Obama was running for president the first time. Okay, and everyone knew he was, going to win. It was a pretty solid bet that he was going to win. So then, in 2011, 2012, the Tea Party wave happened, and long story short, that was when I started to, get more traction and, gain a little more notoriety. And there were these young conservative teenagers, just like myself, who were very active in the Tea Party, more so than I was. I mean, I was just doing shows, but a lot of these kids, and these were high school kids, were like holding rallies and stuff like that. Um, and so they gained a lot of traction, more than I did at the time. Uh, and a lot of them went on to campaign for Mitt Romney. But here's the thing: a lot of them basically bet the farm on Romney winning the election, and he didn't. Obama got um, elected the second time, and a lot of them dropped out. Quit politics altogether. For some of them, it was just overwhelming. They couldn't handle the left. For some of them, their audience just disappeared, and a lot of people came up with various excuses for why they quit, and some were valid and some weren't. But here's the thing about me, and I explained this to people on the Saturday show. I love podcasting because I like talking to you guys and expressing my thoughts on various things. I mean, yeah, I did start off as a political guy, but I've evolved this show into something that is so much bigger than just politics. At least I'd like to think of it that way. So I started off as doing politics, but then I've done some pop culture and I'll talk about just random things that that strike my fancy. good folks like Neri there in the chat, or at least he was there, or I'll Apex Gamma is my co-host, so I'll just chat with him, and that's what it's about. I love podcasting because I love doing this. So a lot of people are wondering, well, Sam, if Biden gets elected, what does that mean for the Whitfield report? That's the big question that people have been asking as of late. And the answer is, God forbid Biden gets elected. Yeah, it's gonna suck, and yeah, I'm probably gonna bitch about it on the air for a few weeks. But then I'll be back to making fun of the whole thing and goofing with Apex and talking about Roman death chariots, or uh, you know, how much I like boobs, or whatever we decide to randomly talk about on stream. Uh, And that's what I've really come to realize. This podcast has become more, of like a conversation, and kind of therapeutic for me and kind of therapeutic for you guys. So I'm not doing this just because, uh, you know, I think I can get famous, off of politics. That's kind of how I started, I'll admit, but, you know, I quickly began to realize that I don't need something to latch on to make a great podcast. All I need to do is be me. And a close friend of mine told me that, who actually he retired from politics, a few years ago, and he was working with Turning Point, and then he had a fault with Turning Point, and but now uh, he's helping to run his family small business in Ohio. He just got married. That's my friend Matt Dallas, and he's always been supportive of me doing the show, and like I said, he got married, so he's and like I said, I'm just happy doing the podcast, because you guys like it. So I'm not going anywhere until I get censored or deplatformed. I'm not going anywhere. Um, not only that, not only am I not going anywhere, but a couple people have asked me, you know, a couple people have actually requested that I start a Patreon. I had a Patreon 2 years ago, um, and I decided to kind of suspend it because I just wasn't making, I didn't have as much of an audience on YouTube as I did back then, and it just wasn't feasible for me to do at the time. Now I'm starting the Patreon on back up today. I actually pinned it on my timeline. So a couple of you guys have wanted to know what the deal is with Patreon. So here it is, guys. Basically, what I want to do with the Patreon is offer you guys content that I can't do on the show. On the podcast, I've done movie reviews before, and on Thursdays, for free. And I still might try and do some of that, but the way I want to do movie reviews, like I want to play clips of uh, movies or TV shows and really like explain, why something stands out to me or something. Uh, I can't I can't do that with YouTube because even if it's under fair use, YouTube always seems to want to copyright strike people for for no reason when it comes to anything having to do with you know video or any movie or major studio. So that's out. I want to do like an album review, kind of discuss some of my favorite albums, music too. I want to play some albums and do some commentary as well. That's another thing I can't do publicly on YouTube. So that will be stuff that will get posted. There as well, kind of behind the paywall. Um, a little bit more freedom. Um, and then also just just some like bonus freeform content that I want to put up there. So what I'm trying to say is people that promises that I'm going to post so much content on Patreon, it's going to be coming out the ass. I'm not going to post like 10,000 hours of Patreon exclusive content. I'm not going to put the whole entire show behind a paywall. I'm not even going to put the show behind a paywall necessarily. I'm just throwing in like extra stuff for you guys who want to support the show. So think of the Patreon as more of like a bonus feature. So um, I believe the minimum tier is $1. That's if you want to just chip in $1 a month and just say, hey, you're not going to get anything with that tier at all, but I appreciate even if you can spare $1. $3 is where you'll start getting the bonus episodes. I might upload some of the older podcasts, like from the Whitfield analysis days, some old school clips. That's the other thing too is back when I started podcasting, uh, there were music licensing laws, but they weren't as restrictive. So I could get away with like playing, Van Halen and Led Zeppelin as my, in my bumper music, and a lot of podcasters did. But once like podcasting became an actual like thing 5 years ago, that kind of died down, and the music companies started getting more serious. But I'm going to try and put more of like my old school stuff behind the paywall. I can't promise you that it's going to be like all quality content, uh, but it'll be kind of like a time capsule, so to speak. So you, it'll be that. Yeah. R.I.P. Eddie is right. Yeah, and see that's the whole thing. That's part of the reason why I wanted to do like the bonus podcast and like talk about music. Like I would love to talk about Eddie Van Halen, but the way I want to do it, I want to be able to like play some of Van Halen's music for you guys. And sadly, I just can't do that uh, on the regular YouTube. So, um, like the bonus content stuff, and for those people who are saying, "Oh, you're becoming a grifter like Owen and Teddy, Spaghetti." Look, I'm just trying to make this podcast into a little bit of a business. I'm not going to be pulling the BS that like a lot of the other stuff. Like I said, I'm not going to put the whole entire show behind like a walled garden. That's not what I'm going for with Patreon. Um, I just want to provide extra content, and if you guys can't afford to, support the show, there are other ways you can support the show. Just tell your friends about the podcast. Leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or, Spotify or wherever else you get your podcasts. If you can, you know, leave ratings and reviews, share the YouTube, channel, share share the Periscope. But anyway, yeah, we're gonna give the Patreon another go. and hopefully it'll be a lot better than it was initially. And oh, the other thing is, a couple people have said that that I should get a Subscribe Star account. They don't want to support Patreon because of some of Patreon's things with censoring, uh, you know, some conservative figures. Which, listen, the people they've censored, that Patreon has censored, quote unquote, like Owen. Again, I hate to use him as an example, but he's a bit of an extreme. And even when Patreon like basically offered to reinstate him, he basically said no. So he's fighting that ridiculous lawsuit. So you know yeah, there may be a few cases of weird stuff with Patreon, but by and large, the censorship isn't big enough to where I'm like abandoning ship. With that being said, a couple of people have suggested that I use Subscribe Star instead. Instead, I'm not going to use Subscribe Star instead, but I have a Subscribe Star page as well, um, and it's going to be the same tier system as on Patreon. The only thing is, um, with Subscribe Star, they have to like manually approve you. So I signed up and sent them an email to get my Subscribe Star page like approved or something, and they haven't emailed me back. Um, so I'm not that worried about it. I'm sure they're busy because it is a newer platform and whatnot. But yeah, we will be rolling everything out slowly on Patreon, and you know, for those that can support me that way, awesome. If you can't, just keep on listening to the podcast for free and giving us your feedback and just showing support. Uh, so anyway, guys, that's that, and I hope you have a great rest of your Monday. It's a new week. I'll be back on Wednesday with a little show. Maybe do like some debate predictions. I'll talk a little bit about the Amy Comey Barrett stuff on Wednesday too. I know that whole shit show started today, so I'll keep you updated. But I just wanted to do this little mini episode because regardless of the outcome of the election, I'm still gonna be here for you guys. That's what matters to me most. And I love every single one of you that supports the show and supports me. Some of you I know, some of you have been with me since the Whitfield analysis days, so you guys have been with me for a long time. Some of you guys are brand new to the, audience wherever you are. I really appreciate your support as always. God bless, God, freedom, legacy in that order, as Mr. John Nerai, who gave a few hearts on Periscope, always likes to say. So, good on you, John. Thanks as always, and you know, thanks to Matt Bliss fan 1991. Although technically you're younger than me, so I don't know how that works, but anyway. If you're watching this on Periscope, thanks for watching, and if you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button, share, spread the word about Patreon because we're here now. And folks, like I said, God bless, God save this great nation, God freedom, democracy in that order, and I will see you on the next episode of the Whitfield Report.